They only here to cause confusion. We here to bring money and to bring change. They here to cause confusion. All these weak rappers, Nas, all these suckers, they battling off of East and West like this is a game. This ain't no game.
We reveal the incredible story of Tupac's ruthless destruction of former enemies and friends, leaving behind shattered relationships and broken spirits. It's an exciting journey into the web of revenge, betrayal, and redemption as we reveal the shocking secrets that led to Tupac's meteoric rise and an unyielding quest for justice. Let's see the untamed spirit of Tupac, whose rap redefined boundaries and changed the face of music forever. See Dolores Tucker. The East and West are fighting each other like a gang with suckers and knives. This isn't a game. Many people only know of Tupac's feud with Biggie, but he also had other disputes that few are aware of. We'll talk about that. Cynthia Dolores Tucker was a former chair of the National Political Congress of Black Women and one of Tupac's early opponents. This woman was among the most hated individuals in the rap business. She wanted to ban so-called gangster music, which glorifies violence and promotes it with knives, guns, or drugs.
Music that glorifies and promotes violence with guns, knives, or drugs, and denigrates and defames women. And with the release of Snoop Doggy Dogg's debut album, Doggy Style,
it also denigrates women and insults them. Snoop was released. Please support the video by leaving a like and comment below. Remember to subscribe. Tupac, of course, could not stay silent and sang about her. Instead of trying to help you destroy, Mr. Dolores Tucker, continue to stress me.
Dolores Tucker, you's a motherfucker. Instead of trying to help a nigga, you destroy your brother. It's Dolores Tucker, right? You keep stressing me. Really fucking with a motherfucker mind.
Tucker sued Tupac after these songs. She claimed that Shakur had portrayed her as an enemy when he knew she wasn't because Shakur's 5 million followers considered her. Peter Tucker is a god. Tucker argued that they would consider Chicker's words factual, not opinion. She also claimed that Chicker's lyrics encouraged her fans to eliminate. The court interpreted the reference as a belief that Tucker's motive was to harm rather than help her fellow African Americans. Dan Quayle. Dan Quayle was the 44th Vice President of the United States from 1989 to 1993, and he too wasn't a fan of rap. He ordered Interscope Records on September 23, 1992 to remove Tupac Now, alleging that the album was responsible for a Texas state trooper's death, who was killed in April of the same year by a man who was allegedly listening to it on tape deck from a stolen car. The officers stopped the truck. Dan's co-workers supported him. They idolized these guys. These guys were Dan's heroes. They told him, hey, you came here from a bad past. All these years you've been messed with by these white police officers. You know that these guys were telling his heroes, Ronald, fight back. Bang, boom.
Idolized these guys. These guys were his heroes. And they were telling him, hey, look, you've come from a bad background. You've had these white cops messing with you all these years. You know, these guys are telling him, his heroes, Ronald, fight back.
Bang, boom, it's a stick-up. Vice President Dan Quayle, eat a dick-up.
Mr. Stick-Up, Vice President Dan Quayle, either Dick is going to the studio to make Bob Dole mad. Big Stretch. At first, they were close friends who made music together, growing tougher with a blade.
Running crazy wild as a kid and growing tough with a knife and living tripe on the regular, walking out competitive.
Pop was shot and everything changed. Pop believed that he was set up and that Stretch might have been involved. Tupac also discovered that Stretch had been associating more often with those that he thought, well, weird. They thought they were weird, so it's kind of messed up. He was also thinking he's responsible for the attack. The notorious B.I.G., Puff Daddy, Haitian Jack, and Jimmy Henchman. Tupac was arrested, and according to Tupac's ex-girlfriend, Stretch, he hit on her. He was like, what's the deal with you? I said nothing. Stretch was murdered in 1995. Park had never intended for that to happen. It would have been enough to break the friendship. In an interview with Hip Hop Magazine, The Source, he spoke about Stretch. What goes around comes around. I had never thought of anything violent towards Stretch, but I did not want to kill the man. He was shot the same way I was shot. This is a completely different beef. This is some Queen Street beef. They had nothing. They had nothing to do with Tupac. Tupac went to extend his funeral. No. Then we disagreed. You will never be able to live if you don't die.
Coward, you can never be live until you die. See the motherfucking bitch in your eye. Type of nigga let the evil of the money trap. And that nigga that was down for me rested dead. Switch sides, guess his new friends one of them.
James Jimmy Henchman Rosemond. Let's start by going through the names we discussed earlier. Not only is he well known for the music business, but also for his crimes. He is currently serving life in prison for running a large drug traffic. Let's now go back in 1994 after Tupac was shot. Biggie said this to Bog. "I told you I had nothing to do and to be careful with who you hang out with." He was probably referring to Jimmy Henchman or Haitian Jack.
Promise to pay back Jimmy Henchman in due time. I know you bitch niggas is listening. The world is mine.
Tupac felt that Roseman had orchestrated everything and promised to repay Jimmy Henchman. Jacques Haitian Jack Agnant. Henchman finally admitted in 2012 that he was involved in the robbery of Tupac after years of denial. Tupac was in the Big Apple preparing for his role in Above the Rim as Birdie. He was impressed by the man's lifestyle and began hanging out with him. Tupac continued to hang out with Agnant and Jimmy Henchman despite several warnings by Biggie and Mike Tyson regarding their true nature. Jack then introduced Tupac to a girl who was later sued for rape. Agnes, who was also charged, was tried separately and cleared. Tupac believed that he had been set up. Fear is stronger than love. Keep that in mind.
Trust nobody. Trust nobody. After dog. You know what I mean? Straight up. My closest friends did me in. My closest friends, my homies, people who I done took care of their whole family. I done took care of everything for them, looked out for them, put them in the game, everything turned on me. Fear is stronger than love. Remember that.
Jack was the one who set up Mike Tyson, who, just like Tupac, had been accused of rape. Maybe it's not a mere coincidence.
Live tale about a snitch named Haitian Jack. Knew he was working for the
Live the feeling about a snitch named Haitian. Jack knew he worked for the fair to stop it and make a home. She was too provocative with Sharon Stone. Chino XL. It all began when a New Jersey rapper named Chino XL acted on rumors by Wendy Williams about Tupac being raped while in prison. Chino's dissing of a popular rapper was a sample act to gain fame. Rascals was not happy with the track when he heard the line, "I don't think I will like it when the song is released." I was not happy. I said, I meant in a radio. Tupac spoke to him saying off the air, "I'm gonna beat this guy's ass."
Chino XL, fuck you too, all you motherfuckers.
Chino responded in some songs after Tupac died. Chico said he saw him one last time in Venice Beach. I told him that I had known that my lyrics would upset him in such a way. I wouldn't have said them. I was just as much a fan as everyone else. Wendy Williams. Wendy Williams, a woman who has spread many rumors about different celebrities throughout her life, said that Tupac was raped in prison. This is how he responded to her allegations.
Said I got raped in jail. Picture that. Revenge is a payback, bitch. Get your gat. Fuck Wendy.
I'm sitting in jail begging, why aren't you saying what's going on? I must wait for them. I got wrecked in a jail. Picture that revenge is a payback that gets your money. De La Soul. Wendy Williams wasn't a gangster band, but a bunch of guys who bickered in tracks. Pac was already famous and they wanted him to be hyped. I'm a phenomenon. Well, I am the hourglass cat who is drugging Jack.
What you mean you don't know? I get around.
I'm something like a phenomenon. Well, I'm the hourglass cat, drug it out of Jack for
News told him he did not want to insult him and that they were only using clowns, making light of the fact that some people took this matter too seriously. Pug replied, "Okay, cool," but it didn't stop there.
Stick to your naughty by natures and your cane, cause graffiti that are based upon the wax is insane.
In the intro song to the album, the stakes were high. Tupac, who was close, very close to trash, who couldn't ignore the second strike, it's like Larry Holmes, flabby and sick, is trying to play hatred on my, well, to eat fat dick pasta news. Tupac's sister said her brother loved De La Soul, but though the trio had dissed him, so he had no choice but to respond. Another trio member, Dave, told him they were fans of Pac and did not want to offend them. Dr. Dre. Now it's time for me to make sure everyone was okay between Trey and Pac, and they even released a video together for California. To some extent, the arrival of Poe's death row influenced the decision to leave the label. Pac needed to everything at once. All at once, and Dre was a notorious perfectionist. In an interview, Pac expressed dissatisfaction about working with Dre. "I tried, and I was tired of that. We didn't need that, but he owed it against all odds." He said the drone was a punk-ass gas who, well, he didn't toss it up.
No longer Dre Day, or even Dirt J. Grown and forgotten, rock for plotting shelf.
Tupac also claimed that Dr. Dre cheated on his wife. Dr. Dre, he left no comment after Tupac's death, said that it was a pleasure to work with him and continued to play California Love at concerts. And Tupac's part was sometimes read by Eminem and other legends, dreaming as soon as a part stepped on the scene. Snoop Dogg. Snoop Dogg was the star of Death Row Records until Tupac arrived. Pac then came, and he also became the younger brother of the Shogunite, which is why Suge claims Snoop became jealous.
Some artists knew it, but like Pac and Snoop at the end hated each other. And you could tell that by the simple fact that when Snoop did Dogfather, Pac was not on that one song. And Pac didn't like Dre. That would change the Death Row canon because of the jealousy of Tupac. Because Tupac was now all of a sudden now, he's this major star, he getting all the light, he getting all the attention.
Some artists like Pockets looked at the end, hated each other, and you could tell by the simple fact that Snoop's father, Parker, wasn't on that song. And Park, like Drake, would change the death vocabulary because of Tupac. Two factors made him his biggest star. He was getting all the attention. The pinnacle came when Tupac, Snoop, the Death Row Crew, and Tupac were all in New York in early September 1996 for the 1996 MTV Awards. On Saturday Night Live, Snoop then went to a local station and said he loved Puffy and Tupac. Tupac, in particular, was offended by this because Snoop had recorded songs critical of both. Tupac, in particular, was offended by this because Snoop had recorded songs critical of both Tupac and Snoop just before Napoleon said it. I remember him calling us into the studio saying, "Pot, listen. I've got Adam to listen. Listen to the lyrics. Do you know what I mean?" Snoop was said to have feared for his life on that flight. He would say this repeatedly. The two rappers split up and Tupac was shot dead a few days later. Mobb Deep. In an interview with Vlad TV, he explained how the conflict began. Did the video show him kicking over New York buildings? So we watched this video. We were like, hello, this is disrespectful. What is he doing?
Snoop and them did a video, kicking over the New York buildings. So we watching the video, we like, hold on, that's kind of disrespectful. Like, what is he doing? Like,
take 10 steps and turn and shoot the first nigga smirk.
Further on Survival of the Fittest, they claimed Thug. After that, Tupac made several references to Mobb Deep in his songs. The most memorable song was Hit 'Em Up. You want to share with us that what you did with your little Nas has sickle cell? Much time passed after Shakur's death. Prodigy's comments about the song Survival of the Fittest. We didn't want to attack Tupac. We had no problem with him. We liked his music, but he took offense at it. That said, it's not where the problem started, but it was planted in Pac's mind. LL Cool J. He was a great inspiration to Tupac. It was evident in the song Old School Remembers, however. In 1995, LL Cool J released I Sought You Now Watch. I'm sure you know what the song title is referring to. However, their conflict may have also been caused by Pac's girlfriend. She had dated LL Cool J for almost 2 years. Before him, LL released a song in 1997 produced by Puff Daddy where he mentions Pac's love
Tupac, but hate some LL. You really want a thug or do you want love?
For Tupac, and from Tupac's original song, Lil Homie's released in 2001. Jay-Z. Check out The Man Gone. I can't say Jay-Z is a Tupac fan before the beef. They respected each other, but they were mutual friends with Biggie. When the dispute between Popga and Biggie began, Jay-Z continued to talk to Biggie. Shakur believes that if you are not with him, you are against him. Outlaws prevented Checkers from doing this, as it was only a conflict between Death Row and Pat Boy.
Jay-Z, all of y'all motherfuckers.
However, after a time, a feature featuring Biggie came out, Who Shot You Like a Peruvian Sinatra. This angered Pac Jean. Dale related to a story about Jay-Z not wanting to leave his room because he didn't want Tupac to know where he was. They wouldn't let him come out. The hotel found out that Jay was in the room and he wouldn't leave the hotel. I don't understand why he didn't do it. I knew he wouldn't let him perform at the concert and Jay was afraid that Jay would not leave that hotel. What's Captain Jay-Z saying to you, the boy? I'm a bad boy. This is another interesting moment in the song Dead or Alive, where we hear these lines, but I don't understand. The one thing is when to let go and let young people die. Some say the song was recorded 1 month before Pac's passing. Some people think the opposite. The main Disarm package was never released, according to DJ Kent. It was performed live on the Apollo once, but never released out of respect for his death. Ken claimed Jay had recorded a song called Going Out Pog, but the sun went out just as it would be released. You must understand that the chip on Jay's shoulder was insane. We performed it once. I won't deny I called the police, but they returned the tools according to rumors. Outlaws members said he was supposed to be on the album Better Days, but it wouldn't work out. Pac and Jay-Z still had tension. They continued. Jay-Z was in a bad relationship with Pac until his death. Nas. The beginning of the video shows a baby being born at the same time as a murder is committed. Once again, Tupac had a good relationship with someone, but then it all went wrong. This time we're discussing Nas. They respected each other, but all good things came to an end. Tupac would not have approved of Nas getting involved in the West Coast versus East Coast beef due to his own rapper's faults. Tupac and Nas met at the House of Blues to discuss this beef. Tupac informed Nas that he had no involvement in the beef and should not be drawn into it. Tupac was happy that Death Row and him had nothing but love, but after listening to Nas's music, he noticed a song which contained a message. Nas talked about fake thugs, which sounded like Nas talking about Tupac.
Thug, no love, you get the slug. CB4 gusto, your luck low. I didn't know till I was drunk though.
Buck thought Nas stole his beat because he used the street beats and the Dreams beat that Tupac used in All Eyes on You when you see him. Then they freed me, putting me in a 1/4 square heading for Delaware. Flashing designer clothes, lacing your click with a diamond rolls, and having your people hold it, the 1996 MTV Music Video Awards squashed this one. Tupac had committed to removing the attack on us in the song by September 4th, but he was fatally shot 2 days later. Nas was performing a live show at that time. Tupac interrupted his performance for a moment's silence when he was declared dead. These are the exact lines that were not deleted. So that is how Tupac destroyed former friends and enemies. Tupac was notorious. I mean, he's not the only one who had that reputation, but he was one of the most notorious rappers and hip-hop artists out there. He wasn't just an artist, he was insane. He was powerful, strong, and he had good connections. And he had loyal followers, he had loyal fans, and he had loyal lovers. But the most important thing is, Tupac was a man of his word, and he was a real man that would never ever let anyone get away with disrespecting him or someone he loves. Tupac only came at me once on the song Against All Odds. Most guys only started listening to Buck after he was controversial, but I had been listening to him ever since he rhymed Digital Underground. Today, some people didn't listen to Pog but loved the sensationalism he brought, but his music gets into my heart. I don't care what we went through, he is the most incredible. I've heard it's that. I knew many of these rappers, you know that they didn't even know him. They have yet to speak to him. That's why they were disrespected on this album. They were always disrespected on his albums. Thank you so much for watching this video. Like, share, and subscribe to the channel for more videos like these.